If you're anything like me, you're constantly in the process of trying to make your business more efficient. Since one of the biggest sources of income for creators is working with brands, today I wanted to show you how I organize and execute a brand partnership. We'll be walking through step by step from the moment that I sign the agreement until the partnership is completely done. Let's dive into it. Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kristen. I'm a content creator as well as a creator monetization coach and the host of Social Scoop podcast, where I teach creators how to turn their online influence and creativity into a profitable, self-sustaining business. If you're interested in learning more about how to actually land the brand deals, we interviewed Sonia Elise, who is the owner of Round 12, an agency where she works with brands to help connect them to some of the best creators. In this episode, you'll learn about everything you need to know to really hook those brands and get them interested in working with you. And don't forget, there are timestamps down below so you can hop around and find exactly what you're looking for today. First things first, take note of all the brand details from the collaboration. I start by going through the signed agreement and the creative brief to know anything that's important for me to know throughout this collaboration. I have a spreadsheet that I created on Notion, and these are the things that I actually have in the spreadsheet. The brand name, the status of the partnership, the rate, the draft due date, the live due date, the deliverables that are required, as well as any hashtags or tags that are required, any usage or exclusivity requirements, the payment terms, as well as how I actually got the partnership, whether that was an inbound request, a pitch, or if we just connected through social media. I also attach the contract and the creative brief for easy access, and have a notes section if there's anything additional that I need to know, like discount codes or UTM links. I organize all of my partnerships for 1 year in one single spreadsheet separated by month. That way I'm able to see how much money I'm bringing in through partnerships each month, as well as throughout the entire year. It's also a really great way to keep things organized because sometimes partnerships will go month to month to month, and you'll have to go months back to actually find this partnership, so I like to have it all in one spreadsheet. We offer this exact template for free to all of our Soulcialmate monthly creator members in our membership, where you can actually get that template as well as tons of other resources. The reason that I have all of this laid out is because it's much quicker for me to find exactly what I'm looking for, and it makes it easier to make sure that I'm not missing any important details that the brand has provided to me. Being detail oriented is something that brands absolutely love in a partner, and if you can do that, it's something that can actually bring the brand back to working with you again. Number 2, do your research into the brand's look and feel. Typically in the creative brief that the brand provides, there may be some examples in there, but just in case there are not any examples, you want to actually go find some of your own. I typically like to take a look through the brand's website and through the brand's Instagram, as well as maybe their newsletter, so that I can really understand the vibe that they're putting out with all of their content. This is especially important if you are doing any UGC or content creation for the brand, where it's content that they're going to be posting but you are not going to be posting, because you want it to fit in very organically with their content that they're already posting. Obviously on TikTok and on Instagram, we have very specific fonts and very specific colors that we're able to use. So if a brand does typically use only one of those fonts on each of the platforms or one of those colors on each of the platforms, make sure to take note of that so you can do the same. If it's a piece of content that I'm going to be posting as well as the brand, and our look and feels are a little bit different from each other, I might create 2 copies of this piece of content, one with their fonts and colors and one with mine, where I'm using the exact same video or photo. This is something that you can do to go above and beyond as a creator to show that brand that you want to make sure the content fits in perfectly with their brand, but you also want to make sure you get the best results with what your audience expects. Number 3, planning the shoot. Once I have a concept for the collaboration, it's time to sit down and actually figure out how I'm going to execute this shoot. The process looks very different depending on what type of content that I'm actually working on. For example, photos, I might be looking into what props that I want to use or what locations, whereas video content, I might be more writing a script for exactly what I want to say in this content. Typically, if I'm planning a photo shoot, I will actually go right to Pinterest and create a mood board of sorts where I can get ideas for poses, locations, outfits, and things like that, so that I'm prepared to actually go into that shoot. For things like videos, I like to have 2 screens up, one with a creative brief and then one with a blank document, so that I can refer back to the creative brief as I'm writing out my script and make sure that I'm hitting all of the points that the brand has required of me. Again, making sure you're paying attention to these details is really great because the brand won't have to have you add things in later, you likely won't have to do reshoots, and again, you're gonna make the process really easy for them, making them hopefully want to work with you time and time again. Number 4, executing the content creation. My job is constantly pulling me in a million different directions with things that I need to do, so I have resorted to actually creating all of my content in one day throughout the week. Today, as I'm recording this, it's a Monday, but this video won't go live on a Monday. Monday is my day to shoot all of my content. This is where I sit down with a plan that I've already created, and I shoot everything that I need to create for that entire week. That way I do all of my shooting shooting today and the rest of the week feels a little bit more relaxed. If I have any sponsored content or brand partnerships, I will also typically shoot them on this Monday. Unless there's a really specific deadline that just won't work with that shooting date, almost everything gets filmed in the same day. Depending on the piece of content and its due date, I may actually sit down after recording or shooting that content and immediately edit it so that it's done. Number 5, organizing the content drafts. Once you've created and edited the content, it's time to actually get this content organized and start to get ready to send it over to the brand. The more organized you can do this, the more the brand is going to absolutely love working with you. In most situations, the brands are going to want to see a draft of the content before you actually go live with it. The draft typically consists of the actual content itself, as well as any captions or hashtags that need to be included. They want to make sure that all the ducks are in a row before you go live. One compliment that I get from brands all the time is that I'm a great brand partner because of how organized I am. So this is something that I try and tell my students time and time again. To stay organized, I use Dropbox to store all of my content, and I'm going to show you what that flow looks like. I have a content folder that is broken down as such. First, it's by year. Once I'm in the correct years folder, I choose between edited and original content. Edited is things that I've already edited, while original is straight out of the camera content. I always like to make sure that I have my unedited content saved just in case I ever have to go back and make changes. I want to make sure I have access to that original content so that I don't have any excuses as to why I can't get that to the brand. In the original content folder, I put all of the content for a specific brand in a folder labeled with their name. When I go into my edited folder, I have things separated by content. For example, I have brand photo shoots, Charlotte local content, creative photo shoots, outfit photos, partnerships, and travel. In each of these folders, there are more folders that are organized by the date that I shot the content or the brand's name if it's a partnership. In each brand's folder for a partnership, I make sure to label the folders by the type of content that it is. For example, images, reels, or stories. For something like Instagram stories where there's an order that it needs to be viewed in, I make sure to label those with slide number 1, 2, 3, and beyond. This just makes it so much easier for the brand to find exactly what they're looking for, so it will save them time, and trust me, that's something that they absolutely love. Next up, we're going to be presenting the content for approval. After I have everything in my Dropbox folder labeled and organized properly, I actually go ahead and get the link that I'm going to be sending to the brand with all of this content. Now, please make sure to note that some brands have very specific ways that they like their content to be sent to them, so Dropbox might not be the best option for everyone. It might be smart for you to first ask if there is a way that they like their content to be submitted. When I'm in the brands folder on Dropbox, I hit the share button and then I copy the link, and this is the link that I'm actually going to use in my email when I send it to the brand. And this is typically what that brand email looks like. I address the person that I'm speaking to and tell them that I'm so excited for them to see this content. I also make sure to note any questions that I have or anything that I need in order to complete the partnership. In larger text, I write "click here to view" and I link that text over to that Dropbox folder. I tell them I'm looking forward to hearing their feedback, and then I end that email. That's it. The next step is setting a live date and actually going live with this content. After I send over my drafts, sometimes the brands will have small tweaks that they want me to make, or in some severe cases, they may ask for a reshoot, although I try to do everything in my power to make sure that does not happen. After I make any changes that is requested by the brand, that's when I can actually go ahead and work with them to set a live date. Some brands actually will have a live date already in mind. Some brands will tell you a certain date range that you can choose between, or some brands may just give you full reign of whenever you need to post it, you can post it. I typically like to nail down a live date with the brand so that they know exactly when they can expect my content to be live on my page. Once I've decided on an actual date with this brand, I put it in my calendar at the exact day and time so that I make sure A, I'm notified, and B, that I make sure the content is shared exactly when I said it would be. After the content has gone live, about 24 to 48 hours, this is when we do the last step. We send the brand a campaign wrap up. Now, a lot of people will just take screenshots of their insights and send them to the brand, but I like to present things in a way that's very organized and very professional, which again is something that brands love about working with me. All of the creators in our private monthly membership community do have access to our campaign wrap-up template for free, along with tons of other really great resources, community, and one-on-one access to me when they need it. In this wrap-up, I include screenshots, but presented in a way that's very professional and appealing to the eye. I also make sure to include any screenshots of messages or comments that I got that were really showing interest in the brand. This is an added benefit that can really take home the point that my audience enjoyed this content, and it could be something something that makes the brand want to work with me again. In the same email where I send this wrap up, I typically invite the brand to work with me again. I make sure to tell them how much I loved working with them and then also explain why I think our partnership was successful. It's also a really great time for you to stand out. What I like to do at the end of a partnership is send the brand a handwritten thank you note. It's something that not a lot of people do but can truly set you apart and make that brand want to work with you time and time again. Ask for their best mailing address and then get a card in the mail. Maybe you even throw a Starbucks gift card in there, but get something handwritten in the mail so that they can receive it in their hands and be really, really excited to work with you again. If you've made it this far and you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Hit that big subscribe button and the bell notification so that you can get notified every time we create a new video for you. If you're interested in learning more about landing brand deals, make sure you listen to our episode of Social Scoop Podcast with Sonia Elise, who is the owner of Round 12, an incredible agency that I've worked with time and time again. She talks about all the things that you need to know about landing brand deals as well as creating strong relationships with your brand partners. You can find that episode down in the description along with tons of other really resourceful episodes. Thank you so much for watching and we'll see you guys next week. Bye!